The other night, as I was restringing one of my students' guitar, I recalled what happened to me with that exact guitar model almost 20 years ago in the Far East. The time of restringing guitar always invites me to rethink this phenomenon called the guitar. Since its body alone it's only a wooden box and strings alone are merely wires, then when we stop this perfect match for about 20 minutes, it's our chance to remember that what we take for granted needs our intervention to keep this magic going. I'm with a broken D strings on my guitar in a small village in northern India. And it's barely the third month of a 12-month trip. The year is 2000, and the chance of getting a nylon string there for my instrument is like the chance that Slash would play Bach on guitar. Then I remembered this guitarist who had played for dozens of people in one of the restaurants a few days earlier. I didn't forget him because he could play almost any song that was thrown into the air, in any key, and with great virtuosity. My plan was to find him, to tell him my problem, to pray that he would have the same string, to offer to buy it from him at a price that might afford him a few more weeks in India, and hope that he would agree to what I wouldn't, to be honest, if I were in his place. After 2 days of investigations, I found myself in the guest house where he's supposed to stay in. And now I'm going to knock on the door of what's supposed to be his room. I knock on the door, but there is no answer. I knock for the second time, no response, nothing. I try for the third time, and then hear a deep voice of someone who interrupted just in the middle of his talk. Come in. I open the door and I find him lying in his bed trying to figure out who I am, why I disturb him, and what I want. I tell him my story and how important it is for me to stay in shape with my guitar playing, because after I finish the trip, I plan to audition for a music academy and make my offer to him. Sorry, but I can't help you with that, he replies. Although he was quite stoned, I could recognize the determination in his voice, and I knew I had no reason to go on trying with him. So I thanked him and left the room. Outside his door, looking around the place, I realized that guest house feels, looks and smells much better than where I lived. I decided to move in, and the first thing I do in my new room is to play Bach, unfortunately with 5 strings. After a few minutes, I hear a knock on the door. I got used to complaints from neighbors so far on my journey because of the noise I make. A bit nervous, I open the door and see the guy staring at me with wide open eyes. He mumbled a few things, turned around and left. I closed the door, trying to understand what has just happened, and just as I went back to practice, there's another knock on the door. Impatiently, I open it, and there is this guy, this time handing me a brand new D string, exactly the one I needed. I heard you from the outside playing this classical music, he says. I think it would be an injustice if I keep this string with me. I beg you to take it. Can't believe what is going on at that moment. I hug and thank him, and he leaves the room. I sit down, put the new string on the guitar, and continue playing Bach, this time with all the notes the composer wrote.